Now, when people break up, okay, it's never really that great. It could be really devastating. It could be crying. It could be throwing fits. It could be awful. Or it could be mutual and they both just aren't in love anymore. Now, over the years, we've all witnessed both types and probably some in between. But today, I wanted to tell you guys 6 of the worst Aquarius celebrity relationship breakups. Now, some of these you might be familiar with, and other ones you may not be. So, first, we're going to do the introduction, and then I'm going to tell you the 6 that I found online and read about over the weekend. Hey guys, it's me. It's Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who might like it too. Also, please stick around to the end of the video because at the end I'm going to be reading 2 of my favorite comments from previous videos, and one of them might be yours. If you would like to get in contact with me to get a reading, please email me. And if you would like to see my Amazon wish list, or if you would like to send me a love donation through PayPal, if you would like to get some Ask an Aquarius merchandise, all of that, you want to hit me up on social media, all of that is underneath this video. Okay? So let's get to talking about our top 6. The first worst Aquarius breakup is Jennifer Aniston, an Aquarius, and Brad Pitt, a Sagittarius. Now, some of you will remember this. Some of you are old enough to remember the whole story. So I'm only going to give you the bits and pieces of it. And if you want to know more, you can feel free to Google or check it out on YouTube, because all of these have long drawn out rumors and news stories and all kinds of stuff. So again, Jen and Brad. Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt were married for a little while. They were considered to be a really cute couple. Aquarius and Sagittarius isn't a bad vibration. It's actually a pretty common one for romantic couples. So they got together. They were America's cute little couple, the cute little sweethearts. But they didn't stay married because Brad Pitt cheated on Jennifer Aniston with Angelina Jolie. Now, Angelina Jolie is a Gemini. So again, he picked another air sign. He went from one air sign to the next air sign. Now, we don't know really how bad this breakup was, but it was all over the tabloids. It was all over television. People were calling Angelina a homewrecker. I mean, it was awful. It was one of the biggest scandals of my adult life. And it was like, whoa. So anybody that was around during that time, that was paying attention or was alive during that time, probably knew about Angelina breaking up, this home-working hussy, breaking up the home of Jen and Brad. Now, Jen and Brad have made many statements over the years, but any way you slice it, it was a really very messy breakup, public messy breakup. And I think for most of these people, that's one of the biggest problems, is that when you're a celebrity and you have an issue, everybody knows about it. If you and your lover have a fight, only you and your lover and maybe whoever heard the fight. But if Angelina and Brad and Jennifer get into something, the whole globe knew about it. So I think for celebrities, that is one of the hardest parts about getting together and breaking up, is that it's so public. Number 2, Emma Roberts and Evan Peters. Now, they're both Aquarius. Again, it could be a good match. According to what they say in astrology books, somebody who is your sun sign is going to be the best or the worst relationship you've ever had. Just depends on how y'all deal with each other. Well, Emma and Evan had the most turbulent relationship. And they were on again, off again. And at one point in time, she was even arrested for attacking him. He did not press charges, but it was stated that she attacked him, and he had physical marks on him that he had been attacked. So this Aquarius couple was definitely violent. He said that they were both fighting each other. He did not say it was one-sided. But still, when the cops came, the cops want to see who got beat up. Whoever got beat up, the other person is the one who's going to jail. If y'all both got beat up, then y'all both go to jail. So in this case, Emma was detained, and a couple hours later, she was released. So that didn't break them up, though. They actually got engaged after that and then broke up when things just didn't seem to be going well. I think if you're fist fighting your fiance or your girlfriend or boyfriend, that's a pretty good sign that y'all shouldn't get engaged. You know, you shouldn't get married or whatever the case is. It's a pretty good sign that it's time to move on. So luckily, before anybody else got hurt, they did both move on. And now I know she's with somebody else, and I'm not sure who he got with, but they split up. Number 3, the Aquarius is Bobby Brown. And the woman is Whitney Houston, the Leo. Now, for any of you who are out there who know who Bobby Brown is, mind you, Bobby Brown was famous when I was a kid, okay? When I was a kid, he had a group called New Edition, and then he went solo. Bobby was hot. You know, for the 80s, he was hot. And Whitney was the most sought after recording artist at that time. She was a pop artist. She did a little bit of R&B. Whitney was amazing. They called her The Voice. Can you imagine having a voice that's so beautiful that people nickname you The Voice? Well, these two hotties, Aquarius and Leo, which is an interesting match because Aquarius and Leo really make great friends. We're opposites on the wheel, so a lot of times you see these two as friends. But the love relationships don't always last. And that's what happened with Bobby and Whitney. So basically, Bobby and Whitney were both using. They were using, different reports say different drugs. They was using something. You know, Aquarius liked to get high, and Whitney had a drug problem for a long time. So the two of them got into this romance. They're getting high together. But it was so turbulent. You can imagine the influence of the drugs probably made it worse. They were fist fighting. They were arguing. Her family didn't want her to be with him. She kept on getting pregnant and having miscarriages. It was a very turbulent relationship. And I lived not far from them. So it was always rumors about them getting into fights. I remember one time, one of the security guards at the mall, the Cherry Hill Mall, made a statement to the press that they were fist fighting in the parking lot. These two were just the most volatile energy you can possibly imagine. And they refused to stop seeing each other. They got into a lot of trouble because Whitney's mother at one point even tried to take their daughter from them. And they moved away. They moved to the West Coast. And eventually they did break up. Many years later, I think their daughter was like 13 or so by the time they broke up. But it was many, many years later. They tried to give it a go. They fought and fought and fought each other and tried to fight for the relationship. And finally, they had to give up. It was just too volatile and too ugly. And very soon after, Whitney died. Very shortly after they broke up. It wasn't even more than maybe a year or two, and she passed away from some type of, I don't know what it was exactly, what the cause of death was, but I noticed she was in a bathtub because everybody was talking about it, and they were like, well, was it a heart condition? Was it drugs? Was it this? Was it that? So the poor child died, and Bobby moved on with his life. And then about a year or so later, his daughter with Whitney died too. So it's a very tragic story. And somebody told me a couple days ago that his son died. And I was like, man, this poor Aquarius is having a lot of death. That's really rough. So their turbulent relationship ended right before she passed over. Number 4, Griselda Blanco, an Aquarius, and she had 4 exes. Now, according to this, her spouses is 4 of them, and we don't know exactly how they broke up. We don't really know the tea on how they broke up, but they all ended up dead. And there is rumor, speculation, innuendo, and her own son, she only has one living son, said that he could not confirm or deny this particular statement. And the statement is, people are saying she killed all 4 of them. Now, Griselda was known for violence. Griselda was bout it. The very first time she even committed a violent act, she was a child, like 8 years old. And it was rumored that she killed a man. So it's very possible. It's very possible because she did put hits out on people. She did this kind of thing. And when her son asked her flat out, "Did you have my daddy killed?" she told him, "Don't go there with me." Okay, all right, Mom. And he left it alone. He said that they had a conversation. He didn't say what else would happen in the conversation, but they had a conversation, and he said that he cannot confirm or deny that that is what occurred. So people think that basically after she had been with somebody and was either angry with them or tired of them, then they broke up by getting the axe. Number 5, Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher is an Aquarius, and Demi Moore, Scorpio. Now, Ashton and Demi got married. I was younger when this happened, like 2000, somewhere around there. And Ashton was a lot younger than Demi. Before that, she had been married to Bruce Willis. They broke up, and she really fell into Ashton Kutcher. Ashton, like I said, was younger than her, and it was a big deal. The tabloids, the press, everybody was talking about it because she's with this younger guy. You know, she's a beautiful woman, but she was with a younger guy. And I always found it interesting because Bruce Willis married a much younger woman, and you never hear anything about it. When a woman gets with a younger man, there's always this double standard. But when a man gets with a much younger woman, nobody bats an eyelash. Big double standard. Anyway, so they were married, and some things started to go wrong. Demi said that she had a miscarriage. She miscarried their child. And for a lot of couples, when there's a miscarriage, the relationship struggles. Some of the times it makes them stronger, and some of the times it pulls them apart. In Demi's case, it started her drinking again and, trying to take, pills to escape. And Ashton, being so much younger than her, wanted to try new experiences. He wanted to try threesomes. He wanted to invite other women into their bedroom. So they did. Demi said that she wanted him to think that she was fun. She wanted to maintain her marriage. A lot of women think this. And a lot of women live to regret it the same way Demi Moore did. Because he ended up cheating. Because he felt like, well, if we have sex with other women together, what's the difference if you're not in the room? Now, anybody who's ever done this kind of thing, there's rules to this. They ain't able to do that, But Ashton took it there. He cheated a few times. Demi dealt with it for a while, and then they finally got divorced. And it was bitter and it was sad. And she wrote a book recently telling all about it. If you want to know more about it, she has a tell-all book, I heard. So she talks about the threesomes and the infidelity and all of that. But basically, it was really sad. And Ashton moved on to marry his co-star from that 70s show. And they have children together. They're still together. So maybe, it's better for him this time. And our last one is really messed up. You know, this one I was like, really, dude? This one is Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens is the guy who wrote A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol is like my favorite Christmas movie, show, whatever. I even played Ebenezer Scrooge when I was in 8th grade. I love this production. Come to find out, Charles was a real loser. Charles was married to a woman named Catherine Dickens, a Taurus. Well, after 22 years of marriage and 10 children, Charles decided that he was going to dump his wife and get with a younger woman. Now, I can be okay with him leaving or not being happy or deciding to move on. But instead of just leaving the relationship, because mind you, this was 1858, divorce was still kind of frowned upon. So instead of just leaving the relationship and just saying, hey, I'm not in love anymore, this man had the audacity to try to have his wife committed to an insane asylum so he could go off with a younger woman. Dude, just go off with the woman. He alleged that she was mentally unbalanced. After 22 years, all of a sudden she unbalanced. If she was unbalanced, you would have known a way long time ago, okay? So he said that she was an unfit wife, an unfit mother, and she was unbalanced. And according to history, she was none of these things. He just wanted to get rid of her to marry a much prettier and younger woman. And my problem with that is that during that time period, and even today, a asylum was not a place you wanted to be if you were not in that mental state. They had everybody there. They had people there for all kinds of different reasons that did not have mental health issues. So these places were notorious for mistreating their patients, especially during this time period. They were notorious for that. So you would send your wife of 22 years, the mother of your 10 children, to an asylum. You couldn't just let her go. And for what I understand, I don't think it worked because they said that she ended up going to live with her family. So I don't think it actually worked. But just the fact that this is what he tried to do is like, you Aquarius, Charles, where's your loyalty? I just thought that was disgusting. So those are the top 6 breakups. So she got to break up with her husband because he tried to have the poor child committed. Okay. So let me know in the comment section, do you have any celebrity breakups for Aquarius that I should add to our next list? Now, let's answer some positive comments. Number 1 is from Justice. Justice said, I'm sweet as pie until you cross me. Once you cross me, I will turn into your worst nightmare. Aquarius, definitely. Once you cross me, I just turn into a ghost. I turn into Casper, you know. I'm not going there with people no more. You know, when I was younger, I would, you know, be very argumentative and vindictive and, you know. And as I got older, I just realized it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. It doesn't get you anywhere. I think by the time I was like almost 30, I had already realized it doesn't get you anywhere. So I just stopped. And when somebody does something, I just remove my presence from them and move on. Roosh Glenna. Hey, Roosh. Roosh said, and they better not cheat on me because I am done. I cannot handle infidelity. There are people who have experienced this and they have dealt with it. They have worked through it. They have stayed with the other person. I have seen so many people work through infidelity. I am not that girl. I'm just not that girl. Not because I don't believe in, you know, forgiveness and working through things, but because I'm never going to trust that person ever again. Period. I already know me. I'm never going to trust them again. Whenever they leave the house, whenever they move funny, whenever they do something, the first thing that's going to come to my mind is they up to something. And the thing about it is that it's not the infidelity itself. It's not the act itself that really bothers me. What bothers me is the deception, the lying, because you don't have to do that. We could have talked about that. We could have had it together. We could have did a lot of different stuff depending on the nature of the relationship, you know, or we could have just decided to have an open relationship. There are so many different ways that that could have gone down that did not require deception. So now, how am I supposed to trust you as my partner, and I can't even trust you to be honest about shit you don't have to lie about? I can't. So for me, that's a done deal. I'm good. I'm good on cheaters. All right, guys. Come back soon because I have a lot more to say. See you later.